Hey YouTube, it's JG24, JM26 here with a Tasmanian episode. This is a diecast on one of the most famous drivers of all time, Dale Earnhardt Sr. You can see that this diecast is from the year 2000, and he drove, I'll have to research when he drove this paint scheme, but he drove the Tasmanian Devil car, I think, at a road course, if I'm correct. I don't know. I can't remember that well. I mean, I was only 6 years old when he drove this car. And this is his last full-time year in the Winston Cup Series, unfortunately, but we won't dive into that. So, I got this car because of my Uncle Keith, who was from Kansas, and he used to collect diecasts, but he was getting rid of them, and he sent them over to my dad, and my dad gave them to me. So, my dad's always been a huge Dale Earnhardt Sr. fan and Junior fan. And so that's why I've always been a Junior fan as well. And I got this car, and it's just like his regular paint schemes. The same design, I should say. But instead of black, it's red. And then you got the white line where it's usually red, and then the black is usually silver. So, and in this car, it's I've always liked the Looney Tunes. So seeing the Tasmanian Devil on it was usually some of my favorites. It's always been a nice race car in my collection, and it looks pretty good for having it since I was about 7 or 8 years old. I kept good care of this car for being a 8-year-old. See, we got a little damage on the back here, but when I was an 8-year-old, well, younger than that, I should say, when I was like a 4 or 5-year-old, I was a diecast monster. I was not very kind to my race cars, so having this car in good condition still is pretty amazing, if you ask me. Once again, I just love this race car. If you're a Dale Earnhardt Sr. fan, this is probably one that you would like to get because, you know, he usually has the same paint scheme every race. It's that good wrench black Chevrolet. And whenever he races a special paint scheme, it's always special for Dale Earnhardt because it was kind of rare back in the day. So it's nice seeing his car in a different look. And I just love Looney Tunes, like I said, the Tasmanian Devils on the race car. It's a nice paint scheme. I also find it interesting that there's no Winston Cup sticker on here because it was a secret sponsor, obviously, but I figured it'd be on a 124 body since, I mean, maybe this is the kids version or something. I don't know. The chassis looks decent, but yeah. I mean, this isn't a must-have, but if you like collecting paint schemes, I'd say get this paint scheme if you can find it somewhere for cheap. I'm sure this is one of the cheaper versions of a Dale Earnhardt race car. But yeah, I like this one. I've always liked back in the late 90s, early 2000s when they'd run an orange number on top of the car. And that usually meant it was a plate car. So maybe he drove this at Talladega or something. Or Daytona in some race. So I'll have to look into that. Maybe I'll put something in at the end of the video when I find out what I researched. And I hope everybody likes this video. And this has always been one of my favorite cars because it's meant something to me because of my dad's favorite driver and that he passed away. So I've always liked this race car and I hope everybody enjoyed this video. This is JG24, JM26, signing out.